Guys, welcome to the I Love CVille Show. I'm Jerry Miller. Thank you kindly for joining us. We are live in Charlottesville, Albemarle County, across Central Virginia, the Commonwealth, the country and the world, and the I Love CVille Network. Today's show is going to be pretty dynamite. If you haven't noticed, of late, we've tried to showcase and feature a lot of brands and businesses that are for sale in this community. I'm a champion of small business, a champion of entrepreneurs, one myself, and I've noticed of late a lot of businesses are hitting the for sale marketplace. They're not getting a lot of spotlight, so I want to utilize this platform, the I Love CVille Network, to help highlight them, with the hope that we can find a bevy or a plethora of buyers for these businesses that are for sale. We'll let you know which businesses are up for grabs, their asking prices, and why we see potential for them today on the program. I also want to discuss the article that came out today, the story that came out today from Dave McNair. He's an excellent journalist. Dave McNair, if you're watching the program, please let me know. And someone tag or send a text message to Dave McNair, please. Let him know we're watching this, or we're talking about him here. He's formerly of the Hook, a weekly publication for those that are new to Charlottesville, a weekly publication that is no longer. But the Hook, as many of us remember, was a core group of Hall Spencer, who is owner and editor, Courtney Stewart, Lisa Providence, and Dave McNair. And these four journalists were just amazingly talented when it came to investigative reporting. And it's a publication that I miss and find myself missing often because I'm a news junkie. I'm a junkie for local news. Courtney Stewart, now on WINA, she hosts Charlottesville Right Now, a radio news magazine. Dave McNair is running the brand, the DTM, which is excellent. Lisa Providence is freelancing and enjoying life in retirement. Hall Spencer, when I talked to Halls last, he was teaching a media and journalism class at James Madison University. He also did really, really well with some real estate sales, Hall Spencer, that really offered him financial freedom and opportunity. But the Hook filled this niche, long-form journalism, investigative journalism, a weekly newspaper that kept people on their toes. That niche hasn't necessarily been filled since the Hook merged with another weekly paper, the CVille Weekly, and eventually went the Hook extinct with the investigative reporting it did, which really is not being done right now. It takes institutional memory, it takes talent, it takes time to do investigative reporting. It's one thing to report on press releases, do feature stories, recap government meetings, all paramount and important. All important. I'm not marginalizing that type of journalism. But an expose that digs deep is missing from this local landscape. Coy Barefoot is right. Bill McKenzie, watching the program, says Coy Barefoot, also a part of that group with his talk show on INA. Coy Barefoot was fantastic. You're absolutely right, Wild Bill. We miss him. He lives in Richmond now. So today, I subscribe and I follow Dave McNair. His now brand is the DTM. It's not his full-time job, as he was a full-time journalist with The Hook, but it's more of a passion project for Dave. he sends an email out to subscribers, and I encourage anybody to visit the website. The website is I'll relay the URL to you now, charlottesvilledtm.com. He sends a email out today to subscribers about an hour ago. I'm one of them. And the headline is, did the city of Charlottesville make a secret settlement agreement with former city manager Dr. Terrion Richardson? Emails strongly suggest the city of Charlottesville did make this secret agreement with Dr. Richardson. The sub-headline is, email exchanges between lawyers, city officials, and the city insurance company suggest the two sides were negotiating a settlement deal. I'm going to relay this topic to you, offer you some background, and then ask some important questions today on the I Love CVille Show. I'm also going to highlight a number of businesses that are for sale in Charlottesville, including the Sweet Frog franchise. The Package Depot on Ivy Road is for sale. Kilwins is for sale. Morsel Compass is for sale. Himalayan Fusion on the downtown mall is for sale. Iron Paffles and Coffee on Water Street is for sale. We're going to fill a niche with this platform, the I Love CVille Network, and really do a deep dive consistently and almost daily on this network, highlighting the businesses that are on the market, sale price, asking price, and kind of analyzing the deal and why we think it could make a good opportunity or perhaps even not make a great opportunity. I want to highlight Skooma Boutique Dispensary for being a part of the show. The best dispensary in Charlottesville is on the downtown mall, next to Rapture Restaurant. Skooma Boutique Dispensary. They opened this week a second location on Ellwood Avenue. 2 locations serving Charlottesville and Central Virginia. Skooma Boutique Dispensary. Judah Wickhoward's our director. If you could have that 2-shot ready to go. First, give me a thumbs up when the 2-shot's on, and I'm on this camera like we always do. Second, give a wave and a good afternoon to your fans and friends that watch the program. We love when you are a part of the show, Judah. I think we should highlight how our viewers and listeners can win free coffee for a year. Enter.greenberries.com is the link. You can win free coffee for a year. The website, enter.greenberries.com, to win free coffee for a year. The lead of the show is the Dr. Richardson story from Dave McNair. So here's the background. Dr. Richardson initiated a lawsuit when he, in the city, parted ways. The nitty-gritty is as follows. Dr. Richardson, the city manager of Charlottesville, former, was on the job for not a super long period of time. He was not getting along with council at the time, most notably Mayor Nakia Walker, former Mayor Nakia Walker, and former City Councilor Heather Hill. The City of Charlottesville and Dr. Richardson reached an agreement in September of 2020 to part ways. And part of that agreement was a confidentiality contract that he signed, that the city signed, where Dr. Richardson got a lump sum, hundreds of thousands of dollars, a lump sum of money, to maintain confidentiality with the background, the nitty-gritty of why he was resigning, parting ways with the city of Charlottesville, and going on to do something else. You signed this document, essentially a non-disclosure, leave Charlottesville as city manager with a check, a lot of money, and then you don't say anything publicly or on the record about what happened, about your time. You stay quiet. Now, he then responded by suing the city. He also sued a number of folks that work for the city. Federal lawsuit. He included Nakia Walker, Heather Hill, Lisa Robertson, the city attorney, interim city manager John Blair, friend of the program, for allegedly violating his First Amendment rights. Now, the Daily Progress, which they do a fantastic job, Ginny Bixby, Allison Rabel, Catherine Knott, that team does a fantastic job. On March 8th, Ginny Bixby reported in the Daily Progress, a story we covered here on this show, that Dr. Richardson dropped a lawsuit against the city of Charlottesville, former councilors, Robertson and Mr. John Blair. I'll read you the first few paragraphs of this story on March 8th, verbatim from the newspaper. Former Charlottesville City Manager Dr. Terrion Richardson voluntarily dropped his lawsuit against City Council and city officials Tuesday, March 7th, 2022, according to court filings, and did so with prejudice, meaning the suit is permanently dismissed and can't be reinstated. Richardson filed a federal lawsuit in November of 2021 against City Council, as well as former Mayor Nakia Walker, former Councilor Heather Hill, City Attorney Lisa Robertson, former City Attorney and former Interim City Manager John Blair for allegedly violating his First Amendment rights. According to court documents, Richardson failed to serve Blair, Hill, Robertson, and Walker with papers within 90 days of filing the suit, and received a notice from the court on February 16th that he must do within 15 days or the complaint could be dismissed. The civil suit was filed in United States District Court on November 8, 2021. Richardson was seeking an unspecified amount of expenses and costs incurred in connection with the defendant's actions and declarations by the court in his favor, including an injunction prohibiting the defendants from suppressing his free speech. He demanded a jury trial. So that's the first 4 paragraphs of the story from the Daily Progress. Basically, he said, or he alleged that his First Amendment rights were violated when he signed this confidentiality agreement, took a check, took a substantial amount of money, and he was unable, he said, to pen an op-ed in the newspaper about what happened. And he felt that his rights were violated by this non-disclosure agreement he signed. Today, 1 hour ago, Dave McNair of the Daily Progress on his website, charlottesvilledtm.com, released a story that I found fascinating, suggesting that Richardson likely got a settlement from the city, and that this lawsuit was dropped perhaps because of a second payday. Jeff Fogel, the attorney, a man who understands Freedom of Information Act's FOIAs better than just about anybody, Attorney Jeffrey Fogel FOIAs the city often in his pursuit of police misconduct. So he's constantly FOIAing the city, looking for emails or content or communication exchanges with the city about police misconduct. Fogel, in response to his FOIA request from the city, has uncovered exchanges, email communication, Why this is done via email is just shocking to me. Why you paper the trail on something like this is just shocking to me. But in his efforts to get emails about police misconduct, he uncovers these email exchanges that show lawyers and city officials and representatives from the city of Charlottesville's liability insurance company email exchanging back and forth, even to the point of having in the subject line of these emails, and I'll read it verbatim, in the subject line, City Council of the City of Charlottesville, and Dr. Richardson's name, and settlement negotiations in the subject line. Fogel says to the DTM and Dave McNair, I believe the evidence is quite strong that there was a settlement. We have email exchanges by the lawyers for both sides that refer to the settlement. The fact that it was dismissed with prejudice, meaning it can't be brought back to the court, suggests a settlement, since truly voluntary withdrawals are usually done without prejudice. I would like to know this, and I'm not sure if we will ever know this. I'd like to know if a secret settlement was in fact reached. I'd like to know how much of our taxpayer dollars are utilizing to essentially pay Dr. Richardson twice. Right? He got the payday to sign the initial non-disclosure agreement, the confidentiality agreement. He got that payday when he resigned. And now the DTM, Jeffrey Fogel, and FOIA email exchange requests indicate he may have gotten a second, very likely got a second payday from Charlottesville. Basically a second payday to say, look, we're not going to go down the road of, legal opportunities or the legal process, this lawsuit, let's put it to bed, here's a second payday. Dr. Richardson is now a practitioner in residence at the Weldon Cooper Center for Public Service at the University of Virginia. He has an LLC called Effective Government Solutions LLC, where he's the CEO of the business. So you're looking at a very savvy guy here. You're looking at a very, very savvy guy in Dr. Richardson. I want to start by giving Dr. Richardson some props. Okay? Dr. Richardson knows how to play the game. Dr. Richardson got paid, looks like got paid twice. This man knows how to play the game. Now, to the city of Charlottesville's credit, also give the city of Charlottesville props. Having this headline, the storyline in the headlines is not good for either the city of Charlottesville brand or the Dr. Richardson brand. Suing your former employer lives on the internet forever. And the city of Charlottesville having two former employees in active lawsuits at the same time, Rashal Brackney, Dr. Rashal Brackney, former police chief, and Dr. Terrion Richardson, former city manager, that's not a good look for the city of Charlottesville either, because it shows a level of dysfunction and would create a pause or a sense of concern for future employees taking jobs with the local, with the city as a jurisdiction, because there's evidence of turmoil. The taxpayer in me, the guy who follows storylines, would like to know what the payday was, the second payday that Dr. Richardson got. Perhaps strong evidence in emails that he did. I mean, you're straight up. You're straight up seeing settlement negotiations, the word settlement negotiations in all capitals in the subject line of email exchanges with city officials and the attorney for the city's liability insurance company. Settlement negotiation is in all caps. Mayor Nakiah Walker, former Mayor Nakiah Walker, who was named as a defendant in the lawsuit, emailed Lisa Robertson, dude, this is literally email exchanges here, and emailed the city attorney, quote, was I assigned a lawyer? How was this lawsuit resolved? Am I included in this voluntary dismissal? Former Mayor Nakia Walker wrote, wanting an immediate update on the case. Lisa Robertson's the city attorney, responded to Nakia Walker, assuring her that the case was dismissed against all defendants, including herself. And she said in a response to Nakia Walker, and it's a quote, Virginia Risk Association, as the city insurer, has the authority to settle the case, and the VRSA attorney appointed to represent City Council dealt with Dr. Richardson's attorney. No city funds are being paid out, so that's a good sign. That answers the first question I had about if this is taxpayer dollars. And Robertson email to Walker also says the Virginia Risk Association did not assign an attorney to you, John Blair, or Heather Hill because Dr. Richardson never served any of you with process, end quote. How does this affect insurance premiums with the city? How much did Dr. Richardson get in this second settlement? Should we know as citizens what happened or transpired? What other questions should we be asking? Kevin Yancey, King of Waynesboro, says FOIA the liability insurance company. I mean, I have questions. I always have questions. But when it comes to, who's running the jurisdiction, I'm going to always have questions. The positive in me is this is put to bed. I'm also impressed that Richardson was able to potentially have secured a second payday. The dude knows how to play the game. I'm curious to see if a similar strategy settlement will be employed city with former police chief Brackney. Is it not odd? Do you not find it odd, viewers and listeners, that we haven't heard more of Brackney's lawsuit with the city? Why is that not in the news cycle more? Why are there not more updates we're hearing? Where does that lawsuit stand? A tumultuous era perhaps behind us, we hope. Positions are being filled more actively in City Hall. And there does seem to be that level of calmness or consistent level-headedness back in local government. Seems to have returned. Anywho, questions that I had for you. I want to highlight a couple of businesses on a different topic that are currently for sale. I find the for sale businesses fascinating. The first one I'd like to highlight is Sweet Frogs. Do you have photos you can put on screen for this, J-Dubs? I didn't ask for it in advance, so if it's too difficult, I completely understand. I'm just thinking on the fly here. Sweet Frogs is for sale. Sweet Frogs, the asking price for Sweet Frogs is manageable. I'm going to give you some specs here in a matter of moments. And this is the franchise territory rights and a location. The asking price is $150,000. Obviously, it's Froyo, frozen yogurt. You can purchase the brand and the location, not the real estate, but the business, at a fraction of the startup costs. Heavily trafficked shopping center, the Sweet Frogs. What's the frozen yogurt competition now in Charlottesville? You think of any, Judah?
Not really.
Right? I mean, remember it was all the rage. I mean, Chaps is ice cream. Coors Brothers is custard. Viewers and listeners, what is the Fro-Yo competition? $150,000 asking price for Sweet Frogs. I had this conversation with a friend earlier, and consider this when I also discussed the fact that Kilwins is for sale, Morsel Compass is for sale, Himalayan Fusion's for sale, and Iron Paffles is for sale. Oftentimes when you're making these purchases, you're buying the right to do business in that location. A good example is Botanical, the vegan restaurant that purchased Java Java. Ryan Becklin, the owner of Botanical, she came on this show. She bought Java Java. And she did it because the location was fantastic. You buy the rights to do business at a location like Java Java as opposed to waiting for a potential storefront to open on the downtown mall where you can do business. It's rare that an opportunity to do business from a restaurant setting on the downtown mall happens, transpires, or comes up for grabs. So instead of organically waiting for that to happen, you pay some money to buy an existing business's lease and some furniture, fixtures, and equipment. So Himalayan Fusion is a good example. The asking price for Himalayan Fusion on the downtown mall is $150,000. This is what you have to ask yourself when you're making a purchase of $150K for a business. It's not, should I buy this brand and keep it Himalayan Fusion, or do I rebrand it? And if I rebrand it, why am I going to spend $150 for it? That's not the right kind of thinking. The right kind of thinking instead is, I'm buying this business, the furniture, fixtures, and equipment. Restaurant equipment's not cheap. And I'm also buying the opportunity to do business at this location, the lease. That's what you're doing. So instead of paying potentially considerably more money to establish or to create a restaurant from scratch, building it from scratch, buying all the equipment brand new, doing the demolition, the remodeling, the upkeep, the creation of a storefront or a location that's a blank or white box, paying the architectural fees, the building permits, all the fees with the city for construction, finding someone to build out your business idea right now. Good luck with that, as remodelers are on massive, massive waiting lists. So instead of going through all the rigmarole of starting from scratch, and starting from scratch is always going to be more expensive than buying something existing. You buy something existing like a Himalayan Fusion, you say, hell, I can buy the equipment. It's already built out for a restaurant. Then my costs are only associated with rebranding, some marketing and advertising expenses. I'm buying a chance to be on the downtown mall, and it's already set up to be the kind of business I want, a restaurant. That's what Botanical did with Java Java. It was a smart move by Ryan Becklin. That's the opportunity someone could do with Himalayan Fusion at $150,000. That's the opportunity someone can do with Iron Paffles and coffee. The asking price of this one, $245K. Another one that I found interesting is Ivy Depot is for sale. Package Depot and Ivy, excuse me. That's in the Foods of All Nations shopping center. The asking price is $65K. Gross revenues of $215,000 annually. It's a low-stress business, decades of service to Charlottesville and Ivy residents. The Package Depot and the Foods of All Nations Shopping Center, FedEx, DHL, United States Post Office, UPS, they facilitate shipping, packaging. I went and did a little research on Package Depot. Some of the cool things they ship: art, helping students move dorm stuff, an airplane wing, literally a wing of an airplane, surfboards, artwork valued in the tens of thousands of dollars, irreplaceable family heirlooms, diamonds, beach sand, forgotten teddy bears, a moon rock. They shipped a Mercedes. They've shipped Bodo's Bagels, local hams, ham biscuits from Foods of All Nations. These are some of the items that Package Depot has helped facilitate for its customers. The price point is $65K. I'd like to archive or highlight some of these opportunities on ilovecville.com if we could, Judah. What I'd like to do on ilovecville.com is create Judah Wickhound. How long have we been working together? 10 years? The guy's 8+ people. I'd like to create a for sale tab on ilovecville.com. Can we go to the two shot? And if you could slide that mic so we can do some brainstorming here. We're on a 2. Folks, look at the screen. Let me know when we're on a 2. You got your mic on too?
Yeah, it's on.
Okay, thanks, J-Dubs. I'd like to create a for sale tab on the I Love CVille website. What do you think of that idea?
Oh, I already did it.
10 years of chemistry. You already did?
Mm-hmm.
Explain why you think that would be a good idea. Easy navigation?
Yeah. Yeah. Great, easy navigation. People can find exactly what they're looking for, quick, easy.
So on ilovecville.com, on the menu bar, there's a tab called For Sale?
Yeah.
Excellent. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to highlight some of these opportunities that are on the market to buy existing businesses for the community. Mm-hmm. Will help be the source of the source for some of these opportunities. I mean, you looking to get into the entrepreneurial game at a low stress opportunity. Buying a business, asking price of $65K, $65,000, that had gross revenue of $215,000 last year because ownership is looking to slow down a little bit and wants to enjoy life. This is a fantastic opportunity for the right entrepreneur. Don't you think, Carol? I mean, because, dude, how many times?
Definitely.
Because you and I, we have the I Love CVille brand. So
yeah.
we don't have tremendous experience in the extent of what we're shipping is some shirts, some hats, some stickers, some I Love CVille branded information, branded merchandise.
Mm-hmm.
Packaging is not often easy.
It can be quite a pain.
It can be quite a pain, right?
Yeah.
So like going to a location like the Package Depot in Ivy, I mean, Ivy's a high net worth area. I mean, you got the Boarset and Farmington right there.
Yeah, lots of people coming through to and from work.
Yeah. And someone going in to a location and saying, I have this priceless piece of art, or my grandson left his hop, his rabbit, his stuffed animal that he needs to sleep with every night, or it's a nightmare for mom and dad to put the kid to bed, and I'm grandma or granddad, and I realize that our son left his favorite toy or stuffed animal at our house, and he's already on the road heading home. You have to get this to the grandson and to his parents, and it can't get lost. That has value from a service standpoint where you trust someone to send it the right way.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, $65K at a 215 gross last year. You're looking at an opportunity for someone to jump in here and create a new career for themselves. Derek Bond watching the program. I love Derek Bond. Derek Bond owns the Melting Pot. And the Melting Pot is an A+ restaurant on Water Street. Try the Melting Pot, get to the Melting Pot, support local businesses. Derek Bond had a phenomenal idea. Derek, I'm going to highlight this. Of utilizing the parking stubs when you go into the Water Street and Market Street garage, and on the back of the parking tickets where like you go into the garage, here's your stub that tracks the time you have for parking. When you get that ticket from the automated machine, he suggested you to putting a QR code on the back of the ticket that users can scan the code, and then they can go to a mobile responsive, a mobile website, or maybe it's an app from the city, and see what to do or who to support or what to patronize, like a Charlottesville website.
Say that again. Where would the code be?
So you go into the Market Street garage, and you know how you get that ticket from the machine?
I know what,
you know what
how
I'm
it
saying?
usually works, yeah.
Yeah, and then you usually put it on your dashboard and you forget about it. But instead of forgetting about it, there's quality information that provides value on there. And maybe it's a QR code or some kind of call to action message that leads the, I'd say thousands of customers that utilize these two parking garages every day to pull out their phone, to scan the code or to go to an app, and then they get information about the city of Charlottesville on it from maybe an official city website or smartphone app that says, here's a list of restaurants to try, here's a list of music venues to go to.
Yeah. I mean, I think probably be the most beneficial to just like do the downtown mall. Isn't there a Charlottesville downtown mall website? If you just had a QR code that took them right there, I mean, if they're parking on the downtown mall, why not give them, all the stuff on the downtown mall?
Yeah, right? Like I'm one for, what's one of our favorite sayings around here? It's like, work smart, not hard. Like right now, the city of Charlottesville's got a tourism bus. Literally the tourism branded vehicle. It's a bus. Parked on the downtown mall with two paid city employees at a fold-out card table looking to greet people and stop them and have conversation and give them a 3-folded pamphlet. So us as taxpayers, we're paying to have two people on the downtown mall, the tens of thousands of dollars it costs for the branded bus, the transit vehicle. That's the marketing mechanism for the Charlottesville Albemarle Bureau. And they're sitting there literally, and I watch them, trying to interact with people, complete strangers, and give them a tri-folded pamphlet. And I just look at it and I'm like, this is like the Yellow Pages or communicating via carrier pigeon. This is like setting telegraphs, right? Or like the phone. It's just the most archaic, decades-old thinking. Instead of spending the money on two people in front of a card table, in front of a branded bus that's parked, trying to essentially solicit with walker-bys about what the city has to offer, who wants to be stopped? Do you want to be? I don't want to be stopped.
Nobody wants to be stopped.
No one wants to be stopped, right?
My friend was just telling me he walks down the downtown mall with his headphones on, and when somebody comes up to him, it's like, I'm wearing the headphones because I don't want to talk to anyone.
Yeah.
And I think that's most people walking around the downtown mall. You're either with someone, you're talking with them, or you're alone and buzz off.
Today's person Today's consumer does not want to be stopped. They value your time. Today's consumer does not want phone calls. They want text messages.
Yeah.
Right?
Nobody wants phone calls.
No one wants phone calls. Who wants to listen to voice messages? No one wants a voicemail.
Yeah.
If you're going to call, first, don't call. Text. Second, please, dear God, don't leave the voice message. Do you agree?
I actually like a voice message if somebody is going to make the mistake of calling. It's like if you call and don't leave a message, then I can text you back and be like, hey, what's up? But if you leave a voice message, at least I can check it out and be like, oh, that's what they're calling about. Like if you've ever had someone call you multiple times and never leave a message, it's maddening. It's like, what the hell do you want? I'm clearly not going to answer the phone when you call, so why not just leave a message?
I'd just rather get the text.
Well, yeah.
From the beginning. I mean, if you have to do it longer, send me a voice note. And just send me the voice note via text.
Okay.
I'd rather read it. Now voicemail you can just transcribe. I guess where we're going with this is the following. Paying for city employees to stand in front of a card table on the downtown mall where a tourism bus is parked. It's parked on the downtown mall. These people are in front of the tourism bus, in front of a card table, trying to stop and solicit people with trifold pamphlets about what Charlottesville has to offer. That is not smart. That's not working smart. That's working hard. Working smart would be utilizing digital infrastructures, geofencing, social media. Derek Bond, the Melting Pot's brilliant idea of a branded mechanism on the parking tickets. And tickets is not a good word. Voucher, the parking voucher that indicates the time that you are spending in the garage, where then when you exit, you make payment on that card where time has been stamped on.
I think a simpler method would just be to put a QR code on the newspaper kiosks. There's a little, see them everywhere around the city. Put a QR code that leads to
like signage.
Yeah, put a QR code that leads to a Charlottesville, like the Charlottesville website, and then have all your different menu items be different sections of the city. So you've got downtown, you've got 29 North, you got Barracks Road, and then like anywhere somebody goes to, anywhere in the city, you can find those newspaper kiosks, and then you just take your phone, scan the QR code, and you're at the Charlottesville website. You can go, okay, where am I? I'm at Barracks. What's there to do here? Check that part out. Oh, well, you know what? I'm supposed to meet someone at the downtown mall at 4:30 this evening. I'm just going to go right there and see what they've got to offer. And then when I get there, meet my friend, I've already got an idea of what we want to do.
Yeah, I think it's a great freaking idea. And we can even take it a step further. I think it's a brilliant idea, Judah. We take it a step further. The city could actually monetize these digital placements to drive incremental tax revenue. Like you have these QR codes that are strategically positioned around the city. What to do in the city of Charlottesville? People bust out their phone. Everyone's doing this now with the QR codes because of COVID. How many of these menus are now digital where they just have to get the camera app, they put it over the code, and then it pops up?
Some restaurants even have the bloody QR code like imprinted on a piece of metal and stamped on the table.
I like that you used bloody there. That was very English of you, very British of you.
It took me 5 minutes to get my phone to recognize the damn thing because the lighting was weird and it didn't know what it was looking at. I'm like, I just want to see the menu. Anyways.
They monetized the placement. So they could have a ranking system on the card, on the digital infrastructure, where they're scanning on the code. The top 5 positions are obviously the most valuable, because people are not going to scroll as deep down a list of, say, restaurants to patronize. The top 5 are the most valuable. The city could say, for X amount of dollars per month over this amount of months, you get this top position on this list, and that money that comes from this ad game, this advertising vehicle, this branding vehicle, can be utilized to fund school reconfiguration. I mean, there's so many things that the city could do. As Derek Bond just said, here's a restaurateur. This comment right here resonates with me, DB, quite a bit. Love Derek Bond. Tax revenue without raising the taxes on meals. They're going to raise the meals tax 0.5%. They're going to make it more expensive to go to restaurants. They're going to raise the meals tax at a time when cost of goods and labor is at the highest it's ever been for restaurateurs. Mm-hmm. So restaurateurs right now are faced with slim profit margins and rising overhead. It's literally frustrating the bejeebus out of them. Customers come in, 90% of, I don't know what the exact percentage, a large percentage of customers, when they go out to a restaurant, they just look at the final bill. They don't itemize the bill by, good Lord, this went to meals tax, this went to state tax, etc. They just look at the final number. Don't we just look at the final number? They don't realize that how much is it, Derek Bond? How much of a bill is taxes? Can you put that in the comment section, DB? You know this as well as anyone here. How much of the total bill of a restaurant is taxes all inclusive? Meals tax, all the taxes. What is the percentage of a total bill that's taxes, Derek Bond? Could you let me know that, please, sir? I want to highlight that. The customer does not realize the large percentage of a restaurant bill is taxes and not going to the restaurant itself. Johnny Ornalis is watching the program. I'm going to ask you here. I know the number here. Damn, that is so high. Okay. You go out to restaurants. You're a smart guy. You're a smart guy. I don't expect you to know this answer, but just out of curiosity. What percentage of a restaurant's bill goes to taxes?
What percentage of the bill? So you're not asking how much is you're paying in food tax, which I think is probably like 9 or 10%.
What's the total percentage that goes to taxes? All taxes included of a bill, what goes to taxes and not the restaurant itself?
I mean, I don't know.
Be realistic.
Guess 12%.
Oh, that's a phenomenal guess. Damn good guess. 11.8%. Damn good guess by you. Well done. Another indication of your intelligence. 11.8%. That is huge percent.
Yeah.
Do you not agree?
Yeah. I've been places where taxes were less on food, and you kind of look at you're like, wow, that's all I'm paying in tax for this, and then you go someplace where it's like 9 or 10%, and you're like, holy crap.
Right. So you take a $100 bill. You and your wife go out. You have drinks, appetizer, and entree. Spend $100.
And it costs you $112 before you tip.
Of that 100, 12%.
Oh, you're talking about
is taxes
after the taxes.
So
yeah.
88 is the restaurant, and then you're tipping on that 100. I always tip 20%.
At least.
Yeah. So you're going to 120. So you got a total bill of 120. Mm-hmm. That means $32 of that $120 is tip and taxes.
Well, it would be a little less than 12 on tax if the total after tax was 100.
No, the bill is $100. 12% of that 100 is taxes. So
okay, yeah, I got you.
So that's $12.
Yeah.
And then you're tipping $20 on that for 20%. Mm-hmm. So $32 of that $120 is taxes and gratuity. Mm-hmm. That is a lot.
Yeah.
And that's a lot, especially at times when gas is so freaking high, groceries are so freaking high, personal property taxes are about to go up 20% plus for all of us, real estate assessments have gone up for all of us, real estate tax rate went up 1%. We're getting it's death by 1,000 cuts.
Yeah.
And another thing, I want to highlight this. I try to highlight every aspect of an issue. When you make the barrier of entry to go out to eat higher, you're essentially creating the gentrification of the restaurant experience. When it's expensive to eat out at restaurants, families with children that are on the financial margin will not have the opportunity to eat out as restaurants as much. And when kids do not have an opportunity to eat out at restaurants as much, they get less socialization and opportunities to experience or learn the maturation skills. Eating at your home breakfast table or dining table or kitchen island is extremely different with how you behave than at a restaurant.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. Well, that's the practice. Practice, right?
Sit down, keep your mouth shut, and eat your green beans.
You take your kids out for dinner so they can start practicing how to be civilized people. And when you make restaurants expensive to go to by raising taxes, folks on the financial margin have less opportunity to experience restaurants, so their kids do not get socialized as quickly, certainly in comparison to wealthy families. That is the gentrification of the restaurant experience. Derek Bond, A+ people, similar mindset, Derek Bond and I. The city treasurer advised council against raising the meals tax, but they did not listen to him. The increase in taxes at our restaurant means a decrease in sales for our restaurant. It's a very progressive mindset, which is hurting the people they claim to want to help. I've said this so many times on this show. One of the most regressive tactics you can utilize as a jurisdiction is raising taxes. You cannot be pro-affordable housing and pro-diversity and raise the meals tax, the real estate tax rate, and the personal property taxes. Those two are contradictions.
Mutually exclusive.
Taxes can't go up and affordable housing cannot follow. If you raise the taxes on rooftops and meals, you're gentrifying the community and creating a homogenous wealthy one. This is freaking obvious to me. It's obvious to you, right?
If I didn't already own a house, and you've said it before, I got in at exactly the right time.
Dude, you bought your crib at literally the best time humanly possible.
Yeah, I was incredibly lucky. And if I was renting right now, I'd be looking at moving somewhere else.
You wouldn't stay here.
Hell no. I see rent prices at like $1,800. Yeah. That is insanity.
Insanity.
And
that's low.
I would be out of here.
You're saying you would move altogether. You wouldn't be in Central Virginia.
I certainly wouldn't be able to afford to live in any of those places. So yeah, I wouldn't be, and I'm not looking for a bunch of roommates. I'm not in college. I'd be outskis.
You'd be outskis?
See ya, yeah. I was on Reddit the other day, and
you love Reddit.
There's a Charlottesville Reddit.
I know.
And people were talking about getting the hell out. They're like, look, if you're not going to school here or retired here, there's no reason to be in Charlottesville.
Charlottesville is becoming the Silicon Valley of the East Coast. It's becoming the San Francisco of the East Coast.
I don't know about that.
Dude, I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
Silicon Valley is a bunch of tech. What do we have here?
Wait till the data science school opens and all these businesses poaching the talent from the data science school. Dude, it's going to become an East Coast tech hub where businesses are going to poach talent from the educational, the technology, the educational infrastructure that's called UVA. They're going to poach the talent. They're going to set up shop here, and you're going to have a community of very rich and wealthy. It's going to be a massive wealth gap. It's going to be a massive wealth gap community.
I mean, they're going to have to pay them a ton if they're going to continue living here.
Definitely. The Charlottesville of and dude, change is what is the most constants in life? Death, change, and taxes.
Death and taxes are the only sure things in life.
Sure things in life.
Change is
a sure thing in life.
Well, I know, but it's got a different tagline.
What's the change tagline? You're looking it up?
Let's see.
Death and taxes and change. Death, taxes, and change. And your children driving you crazy from time to time. I love my son. Let's get to some comments coming in here. Bill McChenzie, we love when you watch the program. Kevin Yancey says that parking strategy will work if the parking company agrees to additional printing on stubs. The city runs the garages, so the city would print the stubs. Jehu Martin, it is not just this issue and not the lack of vision of the city council, but the various departments run amok doing whatever without proper management and insight in City Hall. Jehu Martin knows Charlottesville very, very well. I love when you comment on the show. Jehu Martin also says the original argument for meals tax was that tourists would pay our bills. That was before we had a huge restaurant industry. The city is ignorant. The city keeps raising the meals tax. He's basically saying this is affecting locals as well. Dude, isn't one of the reasons you live here the fantastic restaurants? It certainly is for me. My wife and I go out and support local restaurants on the regular. When our in-laws are in town, my in-laws are in town, we are out and about on the regular. This weekend, interestingly, my in-laws and my parents will be at our house at the same time. My in-laws and my parents at our house at the same time this weekend. It's going to be like Chevy Chase and Christmas Vacation.
Oh, man.
Without Uncle Eddie. Did you find that phrase?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of them, but I think the big one that everybody knows is change is inevitable, change is constant.
Yeah. Kevin Yancey says we already have a huge wealth gap. 100% agree with you, sir. I think that wealth gap is going to get even more dramatic. Jamie Turner, repping the Pep and Culpeper, the mayor of Gordonsville. Judah with outskis. I love it. He laughed out loud with your outskis comment. You say funny stuff on here. I like when you're like this, relaxed on the show and providing commentary. I think it's a good yin to the yang. Mm-hmm. All right, why don't we close on this? Which deal is most appealing to you? I'm going to say which deal is most appealing to me. I'm going to rattle them off for you. Are you ready?
Okay.
You got Sweet Frogs for sale. The asking price of okay, I'm going to give you the specs. Sweet Frogs is for sale. The asking price for Sweet Frogs is $150,000. You got Package Depot for sale. The asking price for Package Depot is, oh, you do have a for sale tab on the website. I'm going to the ilovecville.com website for this information, clicking the menu bar and hitting for sale. Package Depot for sale, the asking price is $65,000. Sweet Frogs for sale, the asking price is $150,000. The Kilwins franchise is for sale, the asking price is $249,500. Morsel Compass is for sale. $59,000 asking price for Morsel Compass. That's intriguing. Himalayan Fusion is for sale. The asking price is $150K. Rockfish Gap Outfitters is for sale. The asking price is $745,000. The Rockfish Gap Outfitters is the only one that has the real estate included. $745,000 for that one. And then you got Iron Paffles and Coffee for sale. The asking price is $245K. Viewers and listeners, which one most appeals to you? Which one most appeals to you, Judah Wickower?
I think I think I'm picking Himalayan Fusion
Why?
because of its location. I think you could. You know how? What is it? Champion Grill has that open space.
Yeah.
I think you could do something like that at Himalayan Fusion. Do like quick bites, so people can go in and eat, or like when you got shows going on at the pavilion, or Fridays after 5, you just have a quick place where people can like walk right up, grab a quick bite, be ready in like have it ready in like a minute or two, and you just like print money.
Himalayan Fusion has a lot of appeal to me as well.
But you'd have to do something with it, because I think as it is,
It can't be Himalayan. You wouldn't keep it as Himalayan Fusion.
no.
You'd rebrand it. But you'd buy all the equipment. You'd get a finished restaurant, a restaurant that's already completed.
Hmm. And you get a great spot.
You get a damn good spot. Arguably one of the closest restaurants to Fridays after 5.
Yeah. Well, not arguably.
Is it the closest?
I mean, unless somebody puts something in.
Is it definitely the closest though by location?
It's the last restaurant on that side.
You're right. It's the closest one.
The next thing is the Virginia Kids Museum.
Discovery Museum.
And then on the other side you had
Draft Tap Room, but that's closed.
But that's further back.
Yeah.
You had Taverna.
Bashir's,
Yeah.
which is closed, and Bashir's is turning into a city hall,
Yeah.
and into a city building.
So,
Dude, Himalayan Fusion, I think, is one of the best opportunities of that. I think they're all good opportunities. The Package Depot has a lot of intrigue to me at the $65,000 price point. Someone coming in and becoming an expert or the conduit for packaging and shipping, that is value.
and if you could sell booze there too.
Oh, at Himalayan or the package place?
I'm joking. You know how a lot of places have package stores that double as alcohol depots.
Do they? I didn't know that.
In New Jersey, remember?
Tell me. When we went up there for work?
Yeah.
And
Where do we buy beer and whatever? It's a package store.
I don't follow.
You've never heard of alcohol package stores. I mean, that's like almost typical across a lot of the U.S., I
Well,
think.
when we went into those stores, when we were on we used to have a satellite office in New Providence, New Jersey, and we'd fly up once a week every 90 days. We were representing we're an advertising agency, one of our businesses, and we were representing the Autism Foundation of New Jersey, New Providence Chiropractic, and some other clients there. And it was financially beneficial for us to fly up there and to work. And we were essentially marking up our rates like 25%, and they were still below what New Jersey rates were. So we had Charlottesville overhead, New Jersey prices, fatter margins. But eventually, when you get married, you have kids, you're not looking to be on the road as much. Happy wife, happy life. So your priorities change. And we work our tails off over there. Like, we would grind over a week, fly up there Monday morning, leave at 6 a.m., get to work to the client at like what, 9:30?
Yeah.
And then fly back Friday evening. We were grinding. But after work, we would, with a rental car up in Jersey, New Providence or Chatham or Morristown, I love staying in Morristown, we'd drive to essentially a packaging store, right? Liquor, beer. They had liquor and beer.
Yeah.
That's what you're alluding to. But
Yeah.
the Package Depot in Ivy is only selling. You were joking.
I was joking because I don't think you'd be allowed to do that if you're not an ABC.
Yeah, Jehu says Virginia's liquor laws are medieval.
Yeah.
They are medieval. But being an expert in packaging would provide value for customers, and I think you could potentially grow that $215,000 gross revenue that's currently in the books. Anyway, go to ilovecville.com and click the for sale tab, and you'll see a number of businesses that are currently for sale. Great opportunities. Aaron King, hello, and welcome to the show. Derek Bond, we appreciated your contributions to today's program. The Melting Pot Guys on Water Street, locally owned and operated by Derek Bond, who is a community steward and stakeholder. Jehu Martin, you made the program better. Wild Bill McChenzie and Kevin Yancey, you made the program better. Jamie Turner, you always make the program better. We love you, JT. That's today's show. The I Love CVille Show is a community resource where we champion positivity in the community. We will always take the side of entrepreneurs and small businesses, and we will stand up for the community from the overreach of government. People ask me, what political party do you align with? I align with the political party of common sense. As we talked about earlier in the show, 2 + 2 = 4. I am of the common sense political party. And common sense to me says if you raise taxes in this community, if you want to roll the studio camera before we go, if you raise taxes, you diminish affordability. And if you increase taxes across the board at a time during tremendous inflation, you're gentrifying the community exponentially, and you're creating a homogenous and wealthy community, and you're widening the wealth gap, not narrowing it. I will always stand up for people against the overreach of government. My name is Jerry Miller. You have a good weekend.